and live. Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün dünyanın en iyi üniversitelerinden University of Nottingham'dan Isabella bizlerle olacak. Lütfen sorularınızı sağ alt köşede Questions bölümünden yönlendirmeyi unutmayın. Yes, Isabella, the stage is yours now.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. So, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to take you through today about the University of Nottingham. So finding out a little bit about what it's like to study with us, what the university can offer for you, and what the city is like as well. So my name's Isabella. I support students who are applying to study at the university from Turkey. So hopefully this session will give you all the information you need. But if you do have any specific questions or if there's anything at all you'd like to know, please do ask it in the chat box. And at the end of the presentation, we'll be able to pick those up. So just to get things started, why would you think about studying at Nottingham? So some of the things that we like to talk about are around kind of our reputation around the world for excellence. So Nottingham is really well recognised, both in terms of its rankings, but also in terms of things like employability. So we're a top 70 university in the world for employability. We are 7th in the UK for our research power. And we're also a very, very popular place for international students. So we have approximately 10,000 international students studying with us. We're also a member of something called the Russell Group. So this is a group of universities in the UK that are particularly focused on research. So very similar to the Ivy League in the US. Nottingham is part of the Russell Group, and you become part of a kind of research institution, and you get to contribute towards that research as well and be part of the latest kind of developments in your field. So just to highlight some of our league table positions, so rankings is something that people often pay attention to when choosing where to study. And Nottingham has some particularly strong rankings, so top 20 in the UK, 114th in the world, as well as various rankings in different kind of league tables that all kind of highlight our strengths as a university. So a really strong university to come and study at as a student. So just to tell you a little bit about kind of our student community here at Nottingham. So I mentioned that we have over 10,000 international students. Nottingham is actually a very big university. So we have 3 campuses. We have our campuses here in the UK, in Nottingham, but we also have overseas campuses. So one in China and one in Malaysia. And between all 3, we have around 48,000 students studying with us. So a really, really large student body. Here at our campuses in Nottingham, we have just over 34,000 students, so a really big community, very, very diverse. So we have students from over 150 different countries. So you will meet people from literally everywhere. And we have quite a big Turkish student community as well. So every year we welcome a significant number of students from all over Turkey who are coming to study with us. At Nottingham, you can take part in lots of different kind of teaching and lots of different overseas experiences. So we actually have kind of teaching partnerships where you can spend time at other universities, study abroad options. So over 300 universities that we have study abroad and student exchange opportunities with, and that's in 40 different countries. So lots and lots of opportunities to network globally if you come to Nottingham. So where is Nottingham? This is one of the things that I often get asked. Lots of people have heard about Nottingham. They maybe know about kind of the courses we offer, but they're not 100% sure where Nottingham is. It's not as well known as places like London and Manchester, for example. But Nottingham is a city that is right in the middle of England. So you can see on the map there, we're about an hour and a half to London, 2 hours to Manchester on the train, 1 hour to Birmingham. So very, very central. We're very much a student city. So it's quite a small size city, very compact, but lots and lots going on, very fun, vibrant place to live. So you'll kind of find everything really is going on in Nottingham, whether that's music, sports, food and drink, shopping. There's really something for everyone, and that's one of the great things about it. But you can also explore the rest of the UK really easily from Nottingham. Like I say, good train links to lots of major cities, and we're also very close to some really amazing countryside. So places like the Peak District and Sherwood Forest are just on our doorstep and within less than an hour's drive. One of the really great things about Nottingham as a student, but also just generally living here, is how safe it is. So there's something in the UK called the Purple Flag Award, and this is awarded to cities and towns to recognise how safe they are, but particularly how safe they are at night. And Nottingham has been awarded this every year since 2010. So very much a safe place to be a student, and that's something that people feel very reassured by. So to talk you through a little bit about the background of Nottingham, just to kind of show you some of the things we've been involved in. So we actually go back to the 1800s, and we started in the city centre. So the campus that we're based on now, we didn't move to until 1928. So started in the city centre as a college. And in those days, we had some kind of big names come and study with us. So D.H. Lawrence, the writer and poet, studied with us at the college. But the campus we're on now, so you can see in that image there, Trent Building, that's our kind of most famous building. That's where one of our main campuses is located. And this was donated to us by someone called Sir Jesse Boot. He actually was the founder of the pharmaceutical company here in the UK called Boots, which some of you might be familiar with. So we have really strong links with Boots. Pharmacy in particular is a really key strength at Nottingham. And that's where we are based now, so University Park campus. When we relocated to that location, we've had people like Einstein come and give a guest lecture. We had Gandhi come and speak to our students. So his nephew was actually studying with us. And we became the University of Nottingham. So we changed from a college to the university in 1948, and we've been awarding degrees ever since then. Some of the kind of research and big developments that have come out of Nottingham include things like the MRI scanner, which some of you may have heard of. You might have actually had an MRI scan before. So this was created here at Nottingham by one of our professors, so Peter Mansfield. He tested it on himself, and he later won a Nobel Prize for his research in MRI technology. So some really incredible research and inventions have come from Nottingham. Things like ibuprofen as well was created here. Since then, we've opened several other campuses. So we have our Jubilee Campus, which is based in Nottingham, and I'll talk to you a little bit about those as we go through. We had our 2 overseas campuses open. So Malaysia was first, and then China came next in 2006. We had our veterinary school open in 2007 on Sutton Bonington campus. That's our 3rd campus here in Nottingham. And in 2020, we celebrated 50 years of medicine and 30 years of nursing at the university. So lots of really long-running programs, really well-established, and lots of different things on offer here at Nottingham. But hopefully that highlights kind of the development that we've had and some of the things we've been involved in, just to give you an idea of kind of how we've grown and evolved. So in terms of campuses, I've just mentioned a couple of them then. There's a link here on screen to our virtual campus tours. This is a really nice way to kind of see what the campuses look like. You can have a look around and see the different facilities on offer. But I'll talk you through the campuses that we have. So the first is University Park campus, and this is where we've been based since 1928. It's a huge, huge campus, over 300 acres of parklands. We've got gardens, an amazing boating lake, so you can go rowing, paddle boarding. It's a really nice place to spend time. This is where a lot of our departments and schools are based, as well as lots of our undergraduate accommodation. And it's also where our £40 million David Ross Sports Village is based. So You can see here an aerial view of campus. Everything you can see here is University Park, so all of the sports fields at the bottom. You can see the lake in the middle of campus and lots of green space. So that's one of the really nice things about Nottingham. We are a campus university, and although we're only 15 minutes to the city centre, you feel like you're on a really peaceful green environment. So it's a really lovely place to study. University Park is where you'll find courses like engineering, law, politics, some of our science programs, economics, those sorts of subjects are based here. And it's also where our students' union is. So a really fun campus to be based on. It's about a 15-minute bus or tram ride into the city centre, so really easy to get around. You can walk or ride a bike from campus. It's very safe and very easy to do that as well. The second campus we have is Jubilee Campus. This is where our business school is based. It's where computer science is based, and education and our pre-sessional English courses. So anyone coming to do things like that would be based on Jubilee. It's a much more modern campus, so quite interesting architecture. You can see some of the buildings here on screen. So the one you can actually see there on the left-hand side, sort of in the middle of the lake, is our library on Jubilee Campus. So it's a really nice space to study in. And again, you can see kind of quite green. They're all designed to be very kind of peaceful, tranquil places to study. Each campus that we have has accommodation on it, sports facilities, places to eat and drink, libraries, study areas. So they have everything you need. We have buses that go between the campuses all day. So you can get between Jubilee and University Park in maybe 3 minutes on the bus. It's very quick. You can walk it in about 10 minutes. So they're very close to each other. And yeah, you can choose to live on whichever one you prefer. So if you study on Jubilee, but you want to live closer to University Park, you can do that. That's absolutely fine. And then the third campus we have is called Sutton Bonington. This is a little bit more of a rural campus. So it's about 15 kilometres away from University Park campus. And it's a purpose-built campus for our veterinary school and for biosciences. So it has some really specific facilities here, very high tech. It's based on a working dairy farm, but we also have things like brewing facilities, labs. We do a lot of food production here, 3D imaging. So a really purpose-built facility for these sorts of courses. And as you can see, it's very much in the countryside. So it's a really incredible location if you're coming to do courses within those areas. The facilities you have are second to none. And most students who are studying here would live on Sutton Bonington, just to make it that little bit easier. But again, we have a bus that comes here all day for free. You don't have to pay to use the bus to get to this campus. So you can, if you prefer, live closer to the city centre. It's totally up to you. But this is our third campus for those sorts of courses. So what can you actually study at Nottingham? So we actually offer almost every type of degree. You can see our full prospectus online using that link that's just on the screen. But we have 5 main faculties here at Nottingham. And as a public research university, we offer almost every type of course. So we have our 5 main faculties: arts, engineering, medicine and health sciences, science and social sciences. There are only a few things that we don't typically offer, and that's dentistry, fashion, and theatre focused courses, but almost everything else we have. So just to give you a little bit more detail, within the Faculty of Arts, we're split into 3 schools. So culture, languages and area studies, you have English, and then humanities. And within each of these schools, there's lots of different things you can study. So this ranges from modern languages, communication studies, through to things like philosophy, history, creative writing. So lots of different options available within the Faculty of Arts. It's a really broad school, faculty. We then have the Faculty of Engineering, and this is where you'll find things like architecture, aerospace, mechanical, electrical, civil, so almost every type of engineering. You'll also find things like robotics and mechatronics within our electrical engineering courses. And it's a really strong faculty, so 8th in the UK for its research. Medicine and health sciences spans quite a lot of different areas. So you have the health sciences side of things, which includes nursing. So we're 25th in the world for nursing. You've got things like midwifery, physiotherapy, veterinary medicine. So you've got your main veterinary medicine course, and then we have veterinary physiotherapy, which is offered as a master's as well. Really strong for veterinary science. We have incredible student satisfaction on that course. But medicine and health sciences also includes life sciences, and this is where you'll find things like genetics, neuroscience, immunology, as well as things like sports science. And then we have our medicine courses. So this includes a 5-year medical degree, a 4-year graduate entry medicine, as well as things like cancer science, public health, courses focused on mental health research and stem cell technology as well. So a really broad offering within medicine and health sciences. The 4th faculty we have is science. This is where you'll find pharmacy, psychology, computer science, maths and biosciences, amongst other programs. And as you'll see there, we're 5th in the world for 2 years running for pharmacy and pharmacology. Some really incredible rankings for those courses. And then our final faculty is social sciences. This is where you'll find courses within law, politics, economics. We have our business school here, sociology, social policy, geography, education. So a really huge faculty, lots and lots of courses on offer. Within law, we have lots of subspecializations. So there's over 300 undergraduate degrees and over 200 master's degrees. And obviously we have an incredible amount of research that goes on here. So lots of different PhD opportunities as well. So generally, depending on the course you're interested in, we normally have something that's available or very closely related. And we offer Bachelors of Science, Bachelor of Arts. We have integrated masters, years in industry. So lots and lots of different options for you to choose from, as well as study abroad built into a lot of our programs as well. In terms of entry requirements, I'll just take you through the different requirements by study level. So the first would be for bachelor's degrees, so for undergraduate courses. We accept a range of qualifications, so IB, for example, AP subject tests. We do accept the Turkish high school diploma from particular schools. So certain schools, you can come straight onto the first year of a degree. Other schools may require foundation first, and we do offer foundation courses through our foundation partner, Kaplan. So that's directly opposite the university, so you would be able to choose that as an option. And the fees for undergraduate courses are between £19,000 and £26,000 per year, typically. For master's courses, you would need a bachelor's degree with the equivalent of an upper second class degree, so 2-1 in the UK. For Turkish bachelor's degrees, this would work at about a 3.0 GPA, although some universities we would consider 2.8. So that just depends on the particular university you're at. We can provide some guidance for particular situations there, so just let me know. And then for PhD research programs, you would need both your bachelor's and your master's typically. You would need to have a research proposal and a research topic identified, and you would usually need to identify a supervisor at Nottingham before you apply, and you would contact them first to see if they're able to supervise your project. So there's a slightly different kind of application process for PhDs. So if you are interested in a research program and you want a little bit more guidance, do get in touch with me via email. I'll leave my email at the end of the presentation, but slightly different entry process for those courses. But that just gives you an idea of sort of the typical requirements we'd ask for. And we do also require English language qualifications. So IELTS, TOEFL, PTE English, for example. These are all qualifications that we would accept, and the score that you need will just vary depending on the program you're applying for. In terms of funding from Nottingham, we do offer scholarships. So we have scholarships for both undergraduate and postgraduate students applying from Turkey, so a Middle East and Turkey Excellence Award. The amounts offered vary by study level, but this is something that all students can apply for once they have an offer to study with us. So scholarships for 2023 haven't yet been announced. We would expect there to be something similar available, and we will be announcing details of scholarships usually around November time. So plenty of time to have a think about that. But we also offer sports scholarships as well for elite athletes. So a couple of different funding opportunities available. Just to mention some of the work experience that's available at Nottingham. So one of the kind of things that you'll be thinking about when thinking about studying abroad is, what can I do to enhance my career? What are my employability options? Nottingham is a really sought after university for graduates. So we're one of the kind of consistently targeted universities by top employers in the UK. Obviously, we now have the post-study work visa, so you'll be able to stay and work in the UK for 2 years after you graduate or look for work in that time. But whilst you're a student, there's loads of different things you can do to enhance your employability and get work experience. So we have the year in industry option for lots of our bachelor's degrees, where you take a full year out and work with a company. We have a placements team for both undergraduate and postgraduate students, where you can do short-term fixed projects for specific companies working on a very kind of tangible project within usually 8 to 12 weeks. We advertise lots of vacancies, both on campus and the city centre. So we advertise over 5,000 vacancies each year through our Unitemps jobs board. So this is a short-term jobs board for students specifically. And then we also have things like our Ingenuity Lab. So this is part of our business school, but it's open to all students, where you can get support for starting your own business. You get lots of free advice on things like funding, marketing, proposals. We also run an enterprise competition every year where you can pitch your own business idea and actually win money towards setting that up. So loads of different ways to get involved with work experience and kind of enhancing your skill set outside of your degree. So some of the facilities on campus that you'll have access to, the David Ross Sports Village is one of those. So this opened in 2016, and it's an incredible facility. It was a £40 million investment from one of our alumni, and it has absolutely everything in it that you could need, including rock climbing and bouldering. We have a martial arts dojo centre, an all-glass squash court, swimming pool, which has recently, well, just this summer been renovated, as well as a 200-station fitness suite. So really incredible facilities there. We have a high performance zone for elite athletes as well. So that's a specific area that our elite athletes get to use. We actually have quite a few Olympic and Commonwealth athletes who study with us. So really high quality sports facilities that are open to all students. And then just to tell you a little bit about Nottingham. So as I mentioned, Nottingham is a very student-friendly city. It's really fun. You can walk everywhere. That's one of the things I love about Nottingham, is that once you are there, you don't need to use public transport. You can walk from one side to the other. It's really, really nice to be able to do that. And it is a real mix of everything. So like I mentioned, food and drink, shopping, sports, culture, history. So we're a UNESCO City of Literature. So we actually host a lot of different festivals throughout the year, poetry festivals, things like that. We are a UK top 10 city for students. So as I say, very, very student friendly. We're built on a system of caves. So Nottingham's actually very historic. We have a castle, and underneath the castle is a cave network that goes through the city. And you can actually go inside that and explore. We have lots of tours that go through it and end up in kind of bars and restaurants and things like that. The image you can see here on screen is Market Square. And we actually host a lot of different food markets, festivals. We have our Christmas markets here, and in summer it's turned into kind of like a mini beach So you'll see lots of children kind of playing in the sand that they put in there. So it's a really, really nice part of town. But it's, just a really interesting, fun city to live in. And it's just 15 minutes away from campus with buses and trams that go directly. So really easy to get around. Something I would highlight for you all to have a look at is our virtual tour. So the link is just at the top of the screen. This will let you explore the campus, parts of the city, accommodation, buildings in kind of 3D tour. So it's a really, really good way of seeing what the campus is like. If you can't visit in person, you can get a feel for things. You find out lots of information. There's lots of videos. So it's a great way to kind of explore campus in your own time. So I'd really recommend having a look at that. And then also our YouTube channel has some really incredible videos. We're also on TikTok, so you can kind of get a feel for student life here. You can chat to current students using UniBuddy, so there's a link just on the screen there. And we have lots of open day talks, so kind of guest lectures, things like that you can have a look at to sort of get a feel for what some of the sessions would be like if you were studying with us. So just some resources to help you kind of experience life at Nottingham whilst you're thinking about where you might want to study. So thank you all for listening. I've just put my email address on the screen there. So if you want to make note of that, I will put it into the chat box now. But hopefully that was useful for you all. And we will go through some questions now as well. So I'll just stop sharing my screen and I will put that into the chat box so you have that for you. And I can see that there's been a number of questions that have come in. So I will just go through those, I think. I'll play them as well. I think I can do that on the screen. So the first one is, do you accept direct applications or only via UCAS? So for undergraduate students, we only accept applications via UCAS. So if you're applying to a bachelor's degree, you do need to submit your application through UCAS. Some courses you will need to apply before the UCAS or by the UCAS deadline. So for example, medicine and veterinary medicine, you need to apply by the 15th of October. For the rest of our courses, it's the January deadline, but sometimes we do consider students outside of that. So yes, through UCAS for bachelor's degrees, but for master's and PhD applications, you would apply directly. Okay. So the next question, what percentage of applicants get into the University of Nottingham? So this completely depends on the programme you're applying to. Some courses are much more competitive, so I wouldn't have the specific stats for that. So I'm not able to give you a particular for that, unfortunately, because it completely depends on each programme. Next question is, what is the minimum IELTS or TOEFL score to get into the University of Nottingham? So this again depends on the course you're applying for. For undergraduate degrees, the lowest score, again, different courses will have different scores, but the course that has the minimum score we would accept in IELTS for some of our courses would be 6 overall with 5.5 as a minimum. So some of our engineering programs, for example, whereas things like medicine would require 7.5 overall. So again, have a look at the online prospectus for your course, whether that's a master's, bachelor's, and it will tell you the exact IELTS score that you need for that program. So it's best to look at the course you're applying for and kind of see the score. But I'm happy to advise via email as well if anyone wants to check anything. Question about the scholarship opportunities for Turkish students. Hopefully that was answered in the presentation, but just to reiterate, we do have scholarships available for international students. Typically, we have a Middle East and Turkey scholarship for both undergraduate and postgraduate students. So details of that will be available on our website once they're released this year. Okay, just having another look. There's a few more questions. Bear with me while I get them. So question here that says, if students don't have an IELTS or TOEFL score in the admission period, can they make an application? Can they get a conditional offer? Yes, that's absolutely fine. If you want to apply before you've taken your English language qualification, that's not a problem. We'll be able to assess. And if we do want to make you an offer, we would make an offer that includes a condition to have an English language qualification by a particular date. So that's not a problem. You can apply before you've taken your English language qualification. It's just something that would need to be achieved if they were to make you an offer. Okay. Next question. This one again is about scholarships for master's students and the function of the visa process. So I won't go into the visa process today because that is much later down the line, and it's usually quite a specific information that needs to be passed on. So I won't go into that today. We do have lots of information about visas on our website. Most students will come to the UK on a student route visa, which used to be called the Tier 4 visa. And in terms of scholarships for master's students, typically it's scholarships of £4,000 or £8,000. They are very competitive, and you do need to have an offer to apply for them. But they will be released, or details will be released in the next couple of months. So do keep an eye on the website for that. Transfer students, really depends on the course. Some courses will accept transfer, some won't, and it will depend on what you studied previously. So in this situation, the best thing to do is to contact me via email, and we'll be able to let you know some more details if there's anything in particular that you would like to know. Next question. Is there an opportunity for Duolingo scores to be accepted for master's programs? Unfortunately, we don't accept Duolingo, so we don't consider this one. You would need to take one of our approved tests, so something like IELTS, TOEFL, Pearson, Cambridge, English, something like that, but unfortunately, we don't accept Duolingo. Okay. Question on, do you have online programs? Yes, for some courses we do, usually things within education. So limited online programs, but we do offer some within education. Best thing to do is to go onto our website. You can see the full prospectus and you can actually select by distance online programs. So this is just for master's courses that we offer that. Question on, do we have a chance to work while studying? Absolutely. So on a student visa, you can work part-time up to 20 hours per week. Lots of different opportunities. Some students will get a job in a cafe, for example, or a shop. Some students will do things like working as an ambassador, so helping at things like open days, speaking to prospective students. But we have a careers team who will help you with looking for jobs, helping you to search for them. They can do things like helping you prepare a CV, practice interviews. So yeah, absolutely something you can do while studying. It's usually worth kind of seeing what your schedule is like to figure out how much kind of part-time work you can fit in, but you would be able to do maximum 20 hours per week on a student visa. And then the final question I think we have is, what are the factors that affect taking the scholarship? So we have quite a competitive scholarship application process. You have to have an offer first to be able to apply, and then there's usually an application form, and decisions will be made based on that typically. So like I say, if you have a look on our website, you'll be able to see the scholarships that were available this year, and that will give you an idea of kind of what the process was, what was available, and kind of what you had to do to apply. But the scholarships for 2023 entry should be, or details should be released in the next couple of months. So do keep an eye on the website for those. And then a question about accommodation options. So yeah, we have lots of accommodation on campus, both on campus and surrounding campus. For undergraduate students, you have the choice of catered, where your meals are included, or self-catered, which is where you have a kitchen that you share with your housemates and you can kind of make your own meals. Typically, most students will have their own bedroom, so you don't need to share a room. And you will also have the choice of ensuite, so having your own bathroom or sharing a bathroom. For postgraduate students, it's self-catered only. So you would have a kitchen that you share with your housemates, but the same things otherwise. So own bedroom, you've got the option of kind of ensuite with your own bathroom or shared bathrooms, and lots of different kind of prices available. So depending on what your budget are, you can kind of pick accommodation to suit that. Facilities vary for each, but everything's included. So your bills, your internet, security, everything like that is included in the accommodation. And you can kind of filter by distance as well. So depending on whereabouts on campus, or if you're living in one of our just off campus sites, which are normally 5 to 10 minutes walk, you can kind of choose the options that suit you best. So yeah, we guarantee accommodation for international students. So as long as you apply by our accommodation deadline, which is usually July time, then you'll typically be guaranteed accommodation on campus or in university-owned accommodation. So yeah, hopefully that answers that for you. And then a question says, is there opportunity for course exemption for master's degree courses? I'm not 100% sure what you mean by this, whether it means you can miss certain modules. So that's probably something that would need to be advised via email, depending on the situation. Okay, so I think that's all of the questions. I can just see one here. So this one is asking about monthly expenses. And can I tell a little bit more about that? So generally for living expenses, there is an amount that's required for visa purposes, which is typically around £1,100 per month, around that kind of region. And that is what you will need to have as an international student when you make your visa application. So that's the amount that you need to be prepared for. Typically, Nottingham is a very affordable city. One of the nice things about it, as I mentioned, is that you don't need to use public transport too much. So it really depends on kind of your style of living, really. There's lots of different accommodation options depending on your budget, lots of kind of affordable supermarkets and things like that. So generally it's a fairly affordable city as a student, but be aware that you do have to have the I think it's around £1,100 per month for visa purposes. And then, yeah, someone's just asked about leaving an email. So I will put my email into the chat box now, just so you have it. If anyone would like to get in touch directly, do send me an email. I'm more than happy to advise if there's anything that you'd like to ask about in more detail or anything that wasn't covered today. Hopefully that has answered everything for everyone. Thank you very much for submitting your questions. Really good to hear from you all. I'm looking forward to speaking with you in a little bit more detail if you get in touch right now.
Yes, thank you very much for your answers, Isabella. You covered all of the questions. Thank you for your answers.
No problem.
And also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. University of Nottingham ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adresinden Isabella'ya ulaşabilirsiniz. Bir sonraki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again, Isabella. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Thank you, Zeynep. Speak to you soon.
Take
Thanks,
care.
everyone. Bye.